Hey, so I just want to do a short meditation um, and a processing, really. It's more of a processing. So I don't know whether you just want to sit up with this one because it's about processing anger or any kind of hatred. I don't think hatred's a thing, really. I think it's mainly anger or like repressed feelings because of the oppression of someone else. You know, when you feel that someone is taking over your right to live or your human rights to function. So, like, just simple things like blinking. If someone took over your eyelids and you don't want them to, you'd get angry because it's a natural response and someone's doing something that is absolutely sickening and they shouldn't be doing that. And you feel powerless and helpless because someone's been given some kind of authority or permission that's illegal beyond your human capacity and right, and it's pointless you being alive, basically, because you're not living, they're living through you, and they have their own body. They don't need to be doing those things. So this is beyond prison. It's beyond any kind of prison. It's like wanting to be dead and someone keeping you alive, because what is the point in being alive when you're not yourself because someone's trying to possess you? So it could be that. The rage, the hatred, could be from being raped. A lot of rape victims have a lot of anger, and they can go one way or another. They can go into submission in a way, the subservient and don't say anything, and they just give in to everything. I tend to have been that way. And other people can have really be very aggressive, and they say nasty things about people because they're pushing people away because they don't want to touch that space of rawness, that hurt, that pain. And it's the same thing, really. It's where someone's actually just gone completely against your will and possessed you and took over your body, because that's what rape is. There's no power in it whatsoever. It's a feeble attempt by a coward who won't look at their own problems in life and refuse to take responsibility and accountability of any of the problems and healing journey. And that's the problem that we're having with a lot of men, is that they refuse to actually heal because the patriarchy keeps going round and round and women keep suffering because of men. And that isn't okay. I'm not okay with that as a woman. I've been denied like literally all my human rights for no reason. I'm the divine feminine. I'm ascended. They've tried to keep me small all the time and traumatise me constantly. And what they've done this time is beyond sickening. Most of my life has been taken by torture, in all fairness, and I'm not like extremist there. And then I've been accused of being mentally ill. I'm not the mentally ill one. A mentally ill person is someone who does that to a person, not a person who's having a reaction from someone doing that to a person. So I just, again, just want you to come into that space and maybe feel that anger and that rage and that swirlingness within yourself, which can be a bit like an earthquake. It can be like a tsunami. It can be like the natural disasters when Mother Earth starts to speak, when God's in power, because basically God is in the oneness of presence, a constant. So nature only takes over when something drastic's happened, and that's when polarities should naturally shift. We're not meant to move the poles ourselves. People aren't meant to mess with poles to get what they want. So just coming into that space of just realising and being aware of any anger or hatred or rage or anything of that nature that is within your body, maybe feeling that place in your body, tends to be held within the root chakra and the sacral, the lower chakras, the lower belly. You can get a lot of bloating, a lot of pain, can feel extremely tense. One thing that I've found helpful over the years, like people look like they're strapping and things like that. That's how you release it. It's normal. That is a very normal reaction. So get a drum, literally go wild with the drum. I used to have a butter box with a spoon and used to stamp my feet and just make noises with my voice and just allow myself to be free. Because you're moving it out of your body, so it's not sticking in your body. You're then using your voice as frequency to move it through. You're moving your feet and grounding and earthing, so that you're bringing the power through your legs and into Mother Earth. You're literally working on near enough all body systems there, processing and regulating and allowing yourself to feel that anger once you sat down. Because what you find is once you've had that release, sometimes you can just go and cry and it'll just naturally occur. It's not something you try and do, it's just something that happens. Because anger and rage, you're generally covering something up that's deeper. They're generally just covering up some betrayal or some hurt, or where someone's literally stole your innocence, stole your purity, gone beyond what they're here to go. You know, nobody should have the right to be able to do that to a person in any capacity. And why would you want to? What I've found with people having these kind of desires as such, when they're strong, is, you know, if you're the person doing it, check out if you've got a demon on you, check out if you've got spirits on you. You can usually tell within the eyes. Most of the time. And look at what it is that you think this person's got that you haven't. It's quite likely that you're actually seeing yourself and a part of you that's been undiscovered. There's no need to do these things to people. In society, and I've been guilty of this, had these mixed messages where we've been told to forgive people who have raped us and things like that. I actually disagree with this at this point in time, and I've gone through ascension, and I've gone through that healing journey, and I've been through them higher realms where you are all loving and forgiving. But I actually don't agree with it. It gives a mixed message. It's kind of just saying you're okay with it. Well, I'm not okay with it. So in those states, in those higher states, you don't tend to see the separation, you see, because everything's unified. You're in that union. So you can kind of see the dynamics, but it's not always that way, actually. It's not always the way of the dynamics. When you're on the lower, there's a lot of separation, so it's like war, basically. I always see it as I now see it as a triangle, where the points at the top of the unification and the two lower points is the separation. I think I'm more of a diamond. I've kind of gone somewhere where I don't think anyone else has ever been. Just because I've been forced into things in a horrific way. I've been both ways. Meaning, like, gone through torture and the absolute, so not great. So just allowing yourself to genuinely feel what you need to feel, even if that's numbness, which is still a feeling. And just know that if someone told you when you were younger, you know, you were naughty if you got angry, or it was bad to get angry, or you was a crybaby, or, you know, we get repressed and oppressed a lot with anger, and we get shamed for it, or we get told there's something wrong with us, and that's why there's then explosive reactions. When we feel freely, we don't have these kind of blocks and explosive reactions. When we're allowed to be ourselves and we're not being forced into things we don't want to do, we're not going to have them explosive reactions either. Nor are we going to be wailing, you know, because we're in so much torture and pain, because nobody's listening to us and allowing us to actually genuinely have our own life. You know, nobody really needs to be in some kind of care unit when they've been raped or abused. They need support, and things have gone backwards in society where the wrong people have been put in care. Someone who's needing something like a section, I would suggest it is someone who's a rapist, someone who's got horrific issues, not someone who has rage just because someone's constantly battering them and torturing them. And that's not okay. That's like a 1% to 99. You need to look at the person or people or groups, which it tends to be groups, who are attacking one person, forcing them to do what they think they should do. You know, if we've gone through ascension and we've been made to be free, we should be free. We shouldn't be forced back into being enslaved. I disagree with anyone who allows that. May this serve you well.